The future of our planet is full of uncertainty and problems, including climate change, which could be devastating in many different ways. A new approach to science, which can identify and assess not only problems but solutions, is urgently required. The Impressions Project aimed to provide robust knowledge about potential solutions through a new perspective: transformative climate science. Instead of simply increasing awareness of a potential catastrophe, transformative climate science focuses on creating a vision for the future as the main driver of transformation and positive action. Climate change is closely interlinked with global issues such as overconsumption and inequality. Therefore, solutions to global challenges cannot be developed in isolation. The Impressions Project's visions for the year 2100, created in collaboration with experts and stakeholders, describe a world in which solutions have been found for many of the challenges that society and the world faces. The visions, in 5 different case studies, aim to inspire networks of stakeholders to find transformative solutions and opportunities for sustainable development. One way the Impressions Project researched transformative solutions was through tipping points. Positive tipping points in social ecological systems occur when people are able to irreversibly transform the systems in which they operate, following ethical principles or desired visions of a better world. Historical examples of tipping points include the abolition of slavery, universal access to education, or political representation for women and ethnic minorities. Multiple positive tipping points in many systems are needed to address high levels of climate change. Unfortunately, given the complexity of social ecological systems, we cannot know when or even if a positive tipping point will happen. Therefore, the Impressions Project took a more pragmatic approach and focused on how we can start identifying and building the conditions and capacities that enable positive tipping points to emerge. For example, carefully designed fiscal policies in favor of green technologies could provide the conditions for a positive tipping point in phasing out the mass use of fossil fuels.
There is quite a lot that we can do together as a society to make a difference, and working with decision makers really strongly in the project to kind of co-create some of those solutions has been very inspiring. And I think we have some really interesting solutions on really pushing forward education models, new good governance models, new economic models, and I think there's an awful lot that we have shown that will make a difference under the higher end of climate change. But what we really need to do is face up to the problem, that it is a real problem, and raise awareness with society to change behaviour and act in a more sustainable manner.
During the final set of case study workshops, the Impressions Project stakeholders were asked to identify what actions would lead to transformative changes in order to achieve their vision. The game changers that were identified included institutional transformations such as reform of the Common Agricultural Policy and cohesion funds to decarbonise with a greater focus on the bioeconomy. Transformations in the use of energy and resources, such as reducing food waste and introducing taxes on all kinds of consumption. Innovations to stimulate the transformation towards sustainability, such as time banking and alternative currencies. Environmental protection through, for example, an integrated water forestry agriculture policy. Common game changers across the different case studies included major investments in education and awareness raising, and support to local communities to develop circular economies.
When we solve this problem to have educated generation, I think we have the future, a better future, a sustainable future.
The game changers were clustered into 4 combinations that synergize to achieve tipping points and accelerate the transformation towards a more sustainable future. For example, a cluster of tax reforms which ensures that all environmental and social costs are reflected in consumer prices could enable investment into green technologies and education, providing the conditions for a tipping point in green growth. The Impressions project also researched the ethics and morals that would be required to build solutions to high levels of climate change. Solutions to global problems will only be accepted and engaging in the long term if they are based on and contribute to global justice. However, the responsibility for climate change is not currently obvious. Most countries, individuals, and organizations largely pursue their own individual interests and priorities without thinking about moral issues. The Impressions project has found that a more participatory, engaging scientific method can help identify solutions to climate change. Many transformative solutions can already be implemented and swift change will be required. However, it would be unrealistic to believe we already know the most suitable, effective, and fair solutions or strategies to cope with high-end climate change. As the world gets closer to exceeding the 2 degrees Celsius threshold of the Paris Agreement, we must move beyond conventional solutions and build upon the transformative climate science of the Impressions project. We must engage the world, create enabling conditions, and, based on the best knowledge available, move society towards its positive visions for the future.